All right, we'll continue our driver media availability here at Phoenix International Raceway. We're now joined by Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Currently our points leader, has the best average finish during the chase, 5.2. Needs to finish 11th or better to guarantee a spot in the championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway next weekend. Has finished in the top 10 in each of the last 2 Phoenix races over the last 2 years. Talk a little bit about your thoughts coming into this weekend's race here at Phoenix.
Yeah, basically, do what we did here in the spring. We had a good car. We started up front there and led some laps. Was able to, feel like I had a solid day. We finished 4th. Obviously, like you said, all we got to do is finish 11th, but our goal is to go out here and win the race. And if our goal is only 11th, we may not finish there. So we got to make sure we set our goals high and make sure, like we've been doing the rest of the season.
Okay, well, to open it up for questions, we'll start right here with Reed, then go to Tyler, Bob, and Tom.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Joe, you just touched on this, but can you afford to even think about the best you have to do is 11th, or do you just have to put that completely out of your mind?
Obviously, it's in your mind. You start thinking about what you have to do to get to the next round, and but at the same time, you got to be able to not think about that during the race. You got to be able to just stay focused in on the task at hand, like we did last week. We quite possibly could have been out of it after, last week after everything started happening there at the end of the race, and I feel like we recovered great. We didn't finish where we wanted to going into today, but after, losing not many spots there towards the end of the race and being able to come home 12th after all that, that was all things considering, a decent day. And we'll have to do the same thing here. We'll go out there and try to win the race and roll with the punches no matter what happens. No pun intended on that. Sorry. That came out wrong. We'll go with the flow. How's that sound?
All right, we'll go to Tyler and then Bob.
One person started laughing. That was funny. Anyways.
Hey, Joey. Tyler Burnett, MRN. Growing up, wanting to be a race car driver, what driver did you look up to and why?
For me, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon were my favorite race car drivers growing up. And, when you're 6 years old, you never, imagine that you'd be racing against them, someday, especially for a championship. Like, how cool is that? I was able to race Mark for a victory in Pocono one time, and that was awesome. And, racing with Jeff Gordon for a championship in the Sprint Cup Series that's a dream come true. As a 6-year-old, you say that all the time, so you don't really know better. And as you get older, you realize how hard it is. And to be able to make it this far has been a lot of fun so far, but we don't want to end here.
All right, we'll go to Bob, then Tom.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. When you had contact with Ambrose that cut your tire, do you know was it a side skirt that cut your tire? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I would assume it's something like that. Yeah, I mean, everyone's been so aggressive with that stuff lately. I got hit in the door, and then, next thing you know, I had a right rear flat. So, yeah. Nah, I don't make the rules. It is what it is. Everyone's taking advantage of the of what is there, and as they should. I don't blame anyone. And obviously the consequences of that is we touch each other. We have flat tires, and but that's part of it. We all know it. We can see it. We know if we touch each other, we'll have an issue because of everyone being so aggressive in that department. But that's the name of the game right now.
All right, we'll go Tom, Ryan, Lee, and Jenna. Tom, will you raise your hand so they can get a mic to you?
Hi, Joey. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. I'm looking at the stats. You got 2 victories in the chase, 6 top 5s, and you're tied with a guy for maximum number of points who hasn't finished in a single top 5 in the entire chase. Does that strike you as weird at all?
I guess. Yeah, it's the same rules for everyone, so we got to be able to work the best at it as we can. And yeah, we've had a great chase so far. Can it all end this weekend? Yes, and that's the unfortunate part. If it was last year, we'd be sitting in really good shape right now, looking at a championship, pretty comfortably coming into this race. And the fact is, it's not the rules this year, and we got to play by what cards are dealt. And it's challenging because you can have such a great year, and then you have 2 bad races in a row. Or 2 mediocre races instead of having great races like you've had up to this point, and you're out. And you can have a great season all the way up to Homestead, and something goes wrong and you finish fourth. It's the same for everyone. We all know what we have to deal with, and and it seems like this way the point system is this year, the stats don't matter. The amount of wins and the amount of top 5s and top 10s, it doesn't matter if you look at who's up front in points right now. It doesn't make a difference really if you look at the amount of top 5s or amount of top 10s someone has, because the same guy is like some of the guys back there. Brad has 6 wins. He's out right now. Jeff Gordon's the same way. And there's other cars that don't have any wins and they're in. So it's just the way the rules are right now, and that's everyone's dealing with them the best they can. Obviously this 3 races is tough like that.
Okay, we'll go Ryan, then up front to Lee.
Hey, Joey, Ryan O'Hara, Race Chaser Online. My question for... I'm over here, sorry. My question for you is, your first 9 races here at Phoenix in a Sprint Cup car, your average finish was 18th. And over your last 2 races, your average finish has been 6.5. What has changed for you at Phoenix? What have you done to improve at this track?
It seems like that's kind of been the trend at a lot of places for us. In the beginning of my career, I've had a hard time in a lot of places, to be honest with you. And over time, as a driver, I've been able to figure out what I need at certain racetracks and how to go fast, and I've been able to communicate that with my crew chief. And Todd's been able to do a good job with me the last couple of years, and making sure we stay disciplined to what we need in practice, and that pays off in the race for us. So I think just kind of understanding what makes you fast is just as important as being fast. You can get lucky every now and again and have a fast race car, but not understanding why it's fast is not a very good thing. So to be able to be consistently good at a certain racetrack or a certain style of racing, I think you have to understand why you are.
Okay, we'll go Lee, then Jenna.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Even though you recovered pretty well last weekend, if you don't have a winning car, are you looking at more playing offense or defense? I mean, in the situation of Gordon, it looked like he was, kind of playing defense because he felt he was comfortable enough in points till the end. But, have you kind of looked at all the strategies to try to figure out what's going to be the safest route to get to Homestead?
To be honest with you, it's doing what we've been doing. Like I've been saying this whole chase, we haven't changed our theory and the way we attack a race since we started the chase. We've gone out here and tried to win every week, or we tried to get the best finish we possibly can get, no matter what happens. We'll stay, keep our heads cool, make sure we do what, if something happens, we're not, screaming and yelling on the radio at each other. We're just going to deal with it. We're going to make the best of the situation, no matter what. And I think that's how you get the best finish. And that's what we've been able to do, and so, yes, we're going to try to run up front. We're going to try to qualify up there today. We're going to try to make the fastest Shell Pennzoil Ford we can make, and then we're going to try to win the race. Now, if it comes down to the end and there's one of those moves that it's a checkers or records thing, maybe you won't do that. Maybe you won't go 3 or 4 wide for the win knowing you may wreck. Probably not worth it. But at the same time, I think we have to, stay on the attack mode throughout the race to keep our track position and make sure we're up towards the front, because and we proved it last week. As soon as we lost track position, we got hit in the door, we had a flat tire, and it just snowballed the wrong way. So you got to be up towards the front to feel safe, so you got to be aggressive to be up there in the first place. Yeah, you have to be, right? I mean, you gotta go for a win there. I think the guy who wins the championship is going to win the race, is my thought. But you never know. But I really do think that, and we gotta get there first.
All right, we'll try to get in as many questions as we can. I'm not sure we're going to have time on Joey. We'll go next to Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. Joey, your teammate has gotten himself into a couple messes in 2 of the last 4 weeks. I know you have a good relationship with him and you get along well with him. And Denny made some comments this week that indicated that Brad doesn't have a lot of respect of his fellow drivers. And I'm wondering what your sense and view of Brad's situation is, and how you view him personally.
It's a tough situation. I can't say I've been in the exact same situation, but I think I've been in similar situations as him, and it's tough. It's definitely hard, and you got to be able to stay focused. And what the main goal is to go out there and win this championship. And obviously, everyone's going to play the games, and everyone's going to try to take you down. And I think Brad's pretty strong obviously, to be able to handle that stuff. So, it's for me, I'd be the best teammate I can to him. I try to, obviously we support each other. We try to work with each other and try to make our cars the fastest, and that doesn't just mean talking about our race cars. That means talking about other things that go on the racetrack. And it's obviously it's a tough situation to be in for sure. But at the same time, we try to help each other as much as we can.
But you don't have any issues with him, correct? Do you have any
No,
issues with the way he drives or anything like that?
I mean, he's my teammate. I think each situation is different. But the way I race with him, I have no problem. We race each other fine. He races me clean and hard, and I race him clean and hard, and that works for me. Anything that happens from there out is maybe different from different people's opinions, and the way he races other people, maybe, I don't know. But really, just I know from my own experience that we race each other fine.
All right, I think next on the list was Marty. Are you still back there, Marty? Marty, did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Joey, similarly, Marty Smith, ESPN. We don't drive. There's really only 40 or 45 of you that understand code. You guys know things about it that we never see. So what's he doing wrong? Why are all these guys mad at Brad?
Why are you asking me?
Because
man.
Because you're one of those 40 people that know it. We don't know.
You don't really know what's going on unless you're in the situation yourself. I wasn't driving the 24 or the 2 car last week. So I don't really know what happened. We can all watch the film as much as we want and say, oh, it looks like this happened, or it looks like this happened. We're all going to have different opinions, and most likely both drivers are not going to have the same opinion either, because everyone's got huge egos here, and we're all right. that's how we think. But deep down inside, they probably know what happened. May not admit it, but really, it's not my place to judge. It's I think when you're in the situation and you're driving the cars, you know what's going on, you know what you're doing, and it's just kind of how you deal with it afterwards. If it was a mistake or if it was on purpose, that's something you need to communicate afterwards, and go from there. But I think as far as code, I think you can watch a race and understand what's code and what's okay and what's not okay at the same time.
All right, you got 1 minute left. We will take our final question from Jeff Gluck.
Jeff Clark from USA Today. You and Brad are the only guys that don't have a teammate that's already been eliminated. Obviously, there's a 100% rule and all that stuff, but there could be a teammate that pulls over for another guy to, doesn't fight a guy very hard at the end to give up a point or something like that if needed. I mean, are you concerned that that's a disadvantage for you guys?
No, I think it's an advantage that we have 2 cars still racing for a championship. We still got 2 bullets left to fire away and go for a championship. That's an advantage. That's a great thing for Team Penske. It's great momentum for everyone at our shop building our race cars. It's a privilege to have that. So it's something to be proud of. You definitely don't look at it as a disadvantage. We're both going to race each other like we've been all year, and like I said, we've been winning races together, racing that way. So I don't see it as a disadvantage at all. I'd say it was an advantage that we can still, keep growing off of each other and learning from each other's mistakes and the good things we do, and and to be able to make ourselves better like we've been all year. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, it can happen. Yeah, I mean, it can happen. Yeah, you go to Homestead, I'm sure, there could be, but there's that 100% rule that we all have to race hard, and you'll see what happens after that. But I mean, I think for the most part, everyone's going to race hard. It's the last race of the year. Everyone's going to want to go out there and win the race and end on a good note, no matter what. And yes, there's 4 cars racing for a championship, and a lot can go down into that. But really, you just got to stay focused on your own car and your own what you can control, and then whatever happens from there happens.
Joey, thank you for your time this morning. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.